mention all those who've shown me such wonderful generosity.
The year was 1940. The Pentagon was in the process of being built. Joe Louis was heavyweight champion of the world. The Golden Gate Bridge was only 3 years old. And war clouds were gathering over Europe. On the home front in Colombia, there was preparation for another kind of war. On April 26, 1940, Ellis Fischel Cancer Center opened its doors, and Missouri's fight against cancer was on. Ellis Fischel was the first state cancer hospital west of the Mississippi. The idea was spearheaded by Governor Lloyd Stark, who referred to its creation as the crowning accomplishment of his administration. Governor Stark stressed the importance of a cancer hospital available to the humblest of citizens. In 1937, Governor Stark signed a bill establishing the hospital and a state cancer commission. The commission was chaired by a respected St. Louis surgeon, Dr. Ellis Fischel. Dr. Fischel was a perfect choice. He had dedicated his professional career to the study and treatment of cancer and had voiced his concern for the lack of cancer care in the state. His efforts laid the groundwork for the new cancer center. Sadly, he died in an auto accident in May of 1938, 7 months before the cornerstone was laid for the new hospital. In recognition of Dr. Fischel's tireless efforts and devotion to improving cancer care in the state, Governor Stark requested the new facility be named after Ellis Fischel. Columbia was selected as the site due to its central location and donation of 40 acres of land to build the hospital on. When it was opened, the new hospital's design bore some resemblance to a layer cake, with broad horizontal stripes of chocolate and cream-colored brick. After the opening of Ellis Fischel, the U.S. entered World War II bruised and shaken and exited as the most powerful country in the world. Americans came together as never before, working as one for survival and strength. They became known as the Greatest Generation. For Ellis Fischel, too, it was a decade for growth and strength. It gained a national reputation for its fight against cancer. Ellis Fischel was instrumental in studying the effectiveness of radiation therapy while 2 of its physicians wrote the definitive book on cancer care, a book that was used by a generation of cancer caregivers.
Well, bless my soul, what's wrong? I'm itching like a man on a boat.
In the 50s, television introduced us to sensations such as Elvis, Milton Berle, Sputnik, and the New York Yankees. As television brought the world to us, the nation began building a network of superhighways to help bring us to each other. During that same decade, Ellis Fischel was a star in its own right, being one of only 5 state cancer hospitals in the country. And as our nation prospered, so did Ellis Fischel. A $100,000 cobalt therapy wing was added, and before the decade was over, more than 26,000 patients had come to us for treatment.
Something happening here.
The decade of the 60s was a time of turmoil, as the youth of the nation stepped up and demanded to be heard. It was a time that gave us great leaders, such as John F. Kennedy,
not a victory of party, but a celebration of freedom,
and Martin Luther King Jr.
Free at last! Free at last! Thank God Almighty! We are free at last!
It was also a time of great achievement. We landed on the moon. The Civil Rights Act was passed, and war on poverty was declared. Ellis Fischel, in the meantime, continued its war on cancer and poverty. During the 60s, we were treating over 10,000 patients a year, patients who could pay for part of their care, and, true to our mission, patients who couldn't. The 70s was a time for new technology. The Concorde supersonic passenger jet, the first U.S. space station and Skylab. Computers, video games, and microwave ovens made their debut. New technology also arrived at Ellis Fischel, with a new linear accelerator to more precisely target radiation treatment. Ellis Fischel researchers participated in the first clinical studies on interferon, now a common chemotherapy drug. In 1973, the legislature approved $7.8 million to construct a new wing, and the 3-story addition opened 2 years later. The decade of the 80s, a time of great change. New names like Cabbage Patch, Nintendo, VCRs, and Farm Aid. In Columbia, Missouri, MU's research reactor is awarded approval for its first commercial radiopharmaceutical, paving the way for future radiopharmaceuticals to treat cancer. And in an era of new names, the name of the facility is changed to Ellis Fischel State Cancer Center. The 90s will be remembered as the time when technology truly became part of everyday life. The cell phone, the personal computer, the internet, all combining to reshape our communications world. 1990 at Ellis Fischel will be remembered as the year of the merger with the University of Missouri, combining their strengths in cancer research and treatment. Together, they take a lead role in the first nationwide breast cancer prevention study of the drug tamoxifen. Taking advantage of having one of the largest nuclear reactors on a university campus, MU researchers make strides to relieve the pain of bone cancer with their discovery of a new radiopharmaceutical drug. And U.S. News & World Report ranks Ellis Fischel one of the nation's top 30 centers for cancer care. As the 21st century begins, more than 100 clinician specialists and other scientists are working together to improve and save the lives of cancer patients. In 2004, the Missouri legislature designates Ellis Fischel as the state's official cancer center. Today, 70-plus years after Ellis Fischel opened its doors, the world has changed. Patients are surviving cancer like never before, as new research gives us the ability to detect cancer at its earliest stages, while we develop new and better ways to treat it. Ellis Fischel has been at the forefront of these changes, and now we're in a new home. We occupy the first 2 floors of University of Missouri Healthcare's new patient tower. Our state-of-the-art facilities are unmatched in cancer care. Now, the oldest cancer hospital west of the Mississippi is also the newest.